This will be great.
Yeah, I'm good. Cool. That's why. Great. Let's get started. Good. Awesome. Cool. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming to this webinar about Roblox Ads Manager today. I'm Nick McLaughlin. I am on the product marketing team here at Roblox for ads and brands. I have been in the advertising industry for a long time, but I'm still pretty new to Roblox. I'm about 6 months in, so still learning a lot about the community, understanding how you guys like to use products, but been working a lot on Ads Manager along with Ethan here in my time at Roblox. So excited to share what we've been building and kind of hear a bit more from you today. And then Ethan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Ethan, also known as Kayak Rivers on Roblox. But I'm on the product team here for ads at Roblox, and we're building products to help our creators and community grow faster, and monetize, and all the above. And so we're super pumped to be chatting with you today.
Cool. Today, we're going to talk to you about the new Ads Manager. So if you've been looking on Dev Forum or chatting to one of our team, we've made some pretty massive upgrades to Ads Manager already this year. So we wanted to reshare a lot about that. We wanted to go through the new Ads Manager and some of the different functions. So setup, creative, our objective-based campaigns, and talk more about that. Some of the targeting and algorithms that are built into the product now, as well as some reporting stuff. We also wanted to cover some other FAQs that typically come up, and then we wanted to leave some time at the end to answer any questions that you guys have. We'll take questions throughout on the specific sections as well. So there is a Q&A, I think, that's open, and if there's something that's relevant to the section, we'll take it as we go. And if there's something else, I think you guys can upvote the questions, and we'll take some of the questions at the end as well. And we'll stick around and see if we can answer them for you. But we're looking forward to diving in. Cool. So most of you should be familiar with Ads Manager, but if you're not, Ads Manager is our self-service advertising solution that helps creators of all sizes grow their experiences on Roblox. So it enables you to create ad campaigns that are aligned with your objectives to grow your experience, and we'll get into that in a second. Secondly, you can now use custom creatives to engage new users in additional places. So this is on the homepage with sponsored experiences and beyond in places such as search. And finally, you can understand the impact of ads on your key metrics. So we have our own reporting, and then we're working on improving our reporting and creator analytics so you can see the role that advertising plays in your user journey. And we'll talk a little bit more about that now. So why would you use Ads Manager? So Ads Manager can actually help with different goals across the funnel. And I think when Ethan and I came in at the end of last year, Ads Manager is typically something that a lot of people used to do the thing on the left here, and that's support a launch. So you've built a new game, you want to start to get some players in there, you want it to get discovered by the algorithm. Ads Manager is still really great at that. So when you're launching a game or publishing an update and you want to get that out there to the world and find users that might want to play that together, Roblox Ads Manager is a great way to find players to get started. What we've been doing this year is also building into new objectives as well in different parts of your funnel. So let's say you already have a lot of users and just simply advertising to get any new user into your game isn't enough. We're starting to build a system that enables you to find users that are likely to enjoy your experience but might not have played it before. So this is an incremental tool in addition to organic discovery that can help you grow. And then the final one, which is something we launched, I think 2 weeks ago, can help improve retention. So if you're struggling with 7-day or 30-day retention, or you want to improve it, you've had someone that's played your game and you want them to come back, we're starting to build tools that can help you improve that, get people back to your game and get them spending money. And all of these tools can not only help people get to your game, but once people get to your game, they play longer, they start spending more time, and they're easier to monetize, which is great. And that's the role we want advertising to play for you. So Ethan, I don't know if you have anything else. Otherwise, we can jump into the new Ads Manager.
Yeah, I think you covered it.
Cool.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Cool. So we launched the new Ads Manager with your growth at the center. I think a lot of the feedback we heard as we came on is the old classic Ads Manager was kind of built a little bit for creators and a little bit for brands, which made it was quite complex in areas. It was hard to understand how to drive performance and what to do. And so what we did was we kind of took a look at that late last year, and we started to redevelop Ads Manager from the ground up with your growth at the center. We want a tool that's really simple and easy, doesn't take a lot of time to use, and can just really help you get outcomes so you can get back to building great games and have as many users playing that as possible. And there's 5 really big areas of that. The first is simple setup. So making it really easy for you to just create a campaign. The old classic Ads Manager flow had about 40 steps to create a campaign, and that's a lot of room for error. The new Ads Manager has about 3 steps, which is great to just get up and running and have a campaign spending money. The second is powerful creative. So the old Ads Manager had 1-by-1 creatives, where we'll talk more about how we've shifted to some of these ones you can see on the screen, the 16-by-9 flow, and also moving towards more custom thumbnails. Thirdly, we've moved to an objective focus, which we'll get to, but this was a little bit about what we alluded to before, is with advertising, you have different goals, and the new Ads Manager is built around goals rather than you having to use things like targeting and parameters to help you figure out what you want. And that's really combined with the fourth, which is smarter algorithms. So what we've built under the hood is simply now much more performant than what we had before. It's much better at finding you relevant users for your games. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that's been built and kind of how we see that evolving in the future. And then finally, just intuitive reporting. I think we know that, for a lot of you, this might be the first time you've ever run ads and you want to understand how that works. And so we've built it to be really simple, and we also want to do a lot more about helping you understand the impact of ads on everything. And do you want to take this, or I can take it? We've seen really great results with the Ads Manager already. So we launched the new flow on the last day of March, and here we are at the start of June. We're already starting to see more plays at lower cost. So we saw a 44% decrease in average cost per play since 3/31. So this means that all of you are now getting more relevant plays at lower costs. And this just doesn't mean, hey, I'm getting more users into my experience. You're also getting more quality users. This is super cool. We've seen an 89% improvement in quality playthrough rate since the new Ads Manager launch. So a lot of what we heard is like, hey, I got players to my experience, but they might have bounced or they didn't enjoy my experience. What we're seeing now with the new Ads Manager is we're finding people that are more likely to enjoy your games, and those people are going to be higher quality because they're going to spend more time and money in your experience, which is awesome, and that's what you guys want. And then finally, we're seeing that reflected in the usage. I actually think this is a number we came out with a few weeks ago. I think it's even higher than this now since retention came out. But over 2 in 3 campaigns are now using the new Ads Manager flow since we launched it. We kept the classic flow open because there's still some functionality in that we know that you guys like, but we're seeing more and more people go predominantly to the new flow to create campaigns because of the performance, because of the creative, and because of the simplified flow. And so that's just showing us that we're building the right thing and we're moving in the right direction, which is great. So thanks to all of you that have already tried it and keep giving us feedback and keep it coming. And we're excited to make these numbers even better. So Ethan, do you want to jump into simple setup?
Yeah, sure. And thanks, Nick, for that overview, and thanks everyone for all the questions in the chat and Q&A, and we'll definitely dive into those soon as well. But yeah, just on simple setup. So for those of you who used Ads Manager in the past, we've heard a lot of feedback that it was complicated, it was complex and tough to use. And as Nick mentioned, it actually took 40 clicks to create a campaign. And there was only one objective called visits. So it didn't really leave much room for strategy, right? Like, what does visits mean? I can only run campaign, and it takes 40 clicks. So it's hard, complicated, complex. Now with this new flow, you can actually run a campaign in 3 steps, as Nick said, but the Ads Manager will actually pre-populate all these fields that you're seeing on the screen. So you can actually run a campaign in 1 click. But if you go into Ads Manager, I definitely recommend checking out some of the functionality so you can customize those campaigns. But in terms of the setup, you can really start a campaign in 3 quick steps. You can choose your goal, your budget, and your creative, and you click go. And Nick kind of brought this up, but previously it was just visits as the objective. Now you have 3 options with maximize plays, drive retention, and reactivate users. And more objectives are coming soon. On the budget side, you'll see recommended budgets and recommended durations. And so if you have any questions about where to start, we definitely recommend trying out the recommendations and then experimenting from there. And then on the creative side, we will automatically pull in creatives from your organic thumbnails, like from your experience details page, but then you can actually upload custom creatives. Like, let's say you can upload custom creatives that are in line with your strategy. For example, if it's a drive retention campaign or a reactivate users campaign, you can upload a custom thumbnail that's actually in line with that goal to really attract those players who have already seen your experience back. So you can really start to build a strategy around this. But again, simple setup, 3 quick steps to create a campaign. And so we're excited to see everyone kind of trying it out.
Cool. We can check the chat and see if there's any setup questions. We did have a couple of FAQs that we get pretty regularly here. So, Ethan, one we get is like, what's the budget and length of campaigns? I think what we used to see was really short campaigns. People run for like an hour and they're like, it's not working, I want to turn it off. So when we're looking at this thing and it says that the daily budget and the duration, if I'm logging into Ads Manager and I see this, like how is this kind of figured out, and how should I think about running a campaign when it comes to these types of things? And I know we actually launched a new part of this yesterday, so I don't know if you want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, so in terms of like how these budgets are actually recommended, it's based on a few factors. But what it does is when you run a campaign, it'll learn who's most likely to play based on the goal that you set. And so starting with, let's say, the recommended daily budget and the duration of, let's say, run continuously, it allows the Roblox system to learn who's most likely to play and achieve the goals that you kind of set. And those recommendations are kind of based on a variety of factors, like the audience size of the experience, what Roblox recommends will perform best.
Yeah, so I think a couple of things we have here around campaign length as well. Like, why I think we kind of separate it out here into 2 things, right? So one is point in time campaign. So this might be I'm launching an experience, or I've launched an update. Or an evergreen tactic like new users or retention. Maybe point in time campaigns talk about why you think 1 to 2 weeks is a good time versus 2 days, and then maybe talk a little bit about run continuously as well, if that works.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I mean, like historically, we saw a lot of campaigns running for 1 to 2 days, but that doesn't give the Roblox system enough time to kind of learn and optimize and get you the right players for what you're trying to achieve. And so running for at least 1 to 2 weeks allows Roblox to optimize, get you the right players, get quality players to your experience, who then will make purchases and spend a lot of time engaging. As Nick mentioned, yesterday we actually launched that Run Continuously campaign. And so this is great to try out for always on campaigns to drive a consistent stream of traffic in addition to all the traffic you get organically. And those players will come in, they'll engage, they'll purchase, and just have a fun time playing your experiences.
And so Run Continuously, I think, will run, right, until your ad credits are exhausted, and then you'll get a prompt when it's time to top up if you want to keep your campaign going, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's say you have an existing ad credit balance, Run Continuously will run and use that ad credit balance in line with your daily budget. And if you run out of ad credits, you'll be notified. And when your balance is low, you'll be notified as well.
Cool. And then I see daily budget, lifetime budget here. How should I think about these?
Yeah. Basically, daily budget, lifetime budget, they both perform in a similar fashion. We recommend using the daily budget because you'll get the recommendations based on the Roblox system. The lifetime budget's great if you want to, say, customize your campaign or set a fixed duration, but we do recommend using the daily budget with the recommendations.
Cool. And then one of the things I know we didn't bring into the new system is setting bids and a lot of targeting. We'll talk a little bit more about the algo, but like if I want to set bids and do targeting, I can go to the old flow, but maybe share a little bit more about the different types of performance we see with the bidding model versus the new model and why we think the simplified flow actually works better.
Yeah. So in the old flow, again, there are like 40 clicks you could do to create a campaign. And there's a whole targeting selection or section where you could add these manual targeting fields. Basically, what we did in the new flow is we now have an ML-powered performance and ML model that basically shows the ads to the right user at the right time. And we're seeing great results. Like Nick mentioned, I think a 44% decrease in cost per play, over 80% increase in quality players. And so basically what that is doing is the Roblox system showing the ad to players who are most likely to engage and spend time. In the new flow, you still can have these guardrails. Like if you're in the Ads Manager and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see an audience targeting section. And this is where you can add targeting guardrails like geo or like location and also device. But if you're trying it for the first time, we recommend keeping those options open and just letting Roblox kind of do the work to get you the best results.
Cool. Let's look at and see if we've got any of the questions coming through on setup. And then while we look at those, Ethan, we have a little bit of an Oprah moment. Do you want to share for all the users that have come today what they'll see tomorrow in Ads Manager or a Creator Hub?
Oh, yes. If you sign into Ads Manager tomorrow, you will see ad credits associated with your account. You'll see a big banner at the top of your screen where you'll be able to claim ad credits to actually try out running a campaign through Roblox Ads. And this is just a thank you for joining our webinar, engaging with us, and we'd love to hear your feedback.
Cool. We're excited to hear you testing it out and letting us know how it goes. So thanks for coming and thanks for the questions. I think a couple of questions on setup that I think are good. If we don't get to it now, it's just because we think it might be better for another section. So hold on tight. But I think one does the data that was learned from one campaign transfer over to the other campaign for the same campaign? So I guess if I ran a campaign a month ago, will that learning come into the new one? How does that work? Or how would I think about my ad system getting smarter about my campaigns over time?
Yeah, I would say it's not just associated with the campaign. It's more like holistic about all of the players who are engaging and playing your experiences. And so it's not just pulling data from campaigns. It's more pulling the data from people who are engaging, playing, spending time in the experience, and a whole lot more engagement signals.
Cool. What are the recommended titles based out of? I think we got to that one, which is cool. I think paid access is a good one. I think we have some stuff there, right? Does setup work for paid access? How does that kind of work? What's our plans there?
Yeah, great question. You can actually run ads for paid access today. So both on the new flow and the classic flow. If you're on the new flow, the first step of running an ad will be selecting your experience. And so let's say you have 5 different experiences and one of them is paid access. If you select that experience, the system kind of will dynamically update and you'll be able to run promotions for the paid access game.
Cool. We got a little bit recommended. These recommended questions are good. This is kind of something we get pretty common. So, discovery and ads we will cover, which is good. And then, cool. A lot of algorithm questions, which we can get to, which is great. But I think that's all the ones about setup, which is cool. What about this? Like actionable targeting instead. Cool. So I think this one we will get to targeting actually. So we'll get to that in a separate section. So we already spoke a bit about creative, right? I think something that we launched was the ability to upload more than just one creative, and we also shifted from the 1x1 to the 16:9 format. You talked a little bit about how to use this, but do you want to talk a little bit more about where this is going from how this will work in the future? Like there's a little bit down the bottom about how we'll optimize, and then maybe a little bit more about just like we're seeing 2 in 5 campaigns use this today, but we think everyone should use more than one creative, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think these stats are even increased now, which is great. So basically today you can now add custom creatives. Like a month ago, this wasn't possible, right? It was just a default 1x1 thumbnail. Now you can have these like powerful, engaging 16:9 thumbnails that you can like bring creativity into. So right by default right now in Ads Manager, it'll pull in the thumbnails you have associated with your experience details page just to make it easy to get started without creating new thumbnails. But if you want to try out creating new thumbnails, I know we touched on this a little earlier, but like a thumbnail for someone who have never played your experience might look different than a thumbnail for someone who played yesterday or 10 days ago, right? And so you can get really creative in terms of your strategy now of thumbnails that perform for players at like different stages of your game cycle or their like player journey. So you can get really creative here. Right now, the way it works is, let's say you upload 5 thumbnails. The traffic will be like evenly distributed across those 5 thumbnails. So you can go in, you can click your campaign, and you can actually see the data associated with each thumbnail. So you can test, you can see what's performing best. And what is coming soon is like thumbnail optimization. So for those of you who have tried out personalized thumbnails on home, something similar will be coming to ads. So you'll be able, if you don't want even distribution across thumbnails and you want the system to automatically show optimize to the best performing thumbnail, that will be coming soon as well.
That's going to be really cool. I think it's so big on YouTube, obviously, and I think it'll bring a lot to the ads as well.
Yeah.
One thing I'm just seeing with this graphic on the left is a small change that happened. Well, not a small change, but something happened last week to where sponsored ads show up on the homepage. We're bringing in breaking news,
Yeah.
So maybe for those that didn't see it, can you talk through a little bit more about where the sponsored sort will show up on the homepage and how that's working now?
Yeah, definitely. So for everyone, you can kind of see a little preview of the Roblox homepage on the left side of this slide. But to Nick's point, what happened last week is now the sponsored sort is dynamic on the homepage. So what this means is before, in the past, the sponsored sort was fixed on the homepage and it was like row 5. And so it was below the fold. People had to scroll to see your sponsored ads. Now that changed. So now the sponsored sort is dynamic on the homepage. So it could be as high as row 2 or as low as row 10. So it could be within that range. And the way that range is determined is on a variety of factors. But if you have a game and people are having fun and engaging with your experience, you have a good chance of your game being ranked a lot higher now on home. So this is now an opportunity to be above the fold on the homepage when people load the page and join your experience.
Cool. And I think some of the retention ones, right, as well, sometimes it falls out of continue or things like that. Retention, for example, that ends up, you get two goes at the cherry on homepage, right? You get to show up in that sponsored sort and right?
Yeah, exactly. So what Nick was mentioning is like, I know, like I have an experience myself. Everyone's always thinking about how do you get picked up in RFY. Totally get that. But as you all know, when people play your experience from discovery from the homepage, it will show up in continue, right? Which is that one by one sort on the homepage. But now you could try out drive retention campaigns and reactivation campaigns. And this allows your experience to be on the homepage in two different places. So you basically get 2 bites of the apple. And what's really cool with this is your continue sort has a fixed one by one tile, right? But now with drive retention and reactivate, you can actually upload custom thumbnails purpose built to bring people back to your experience. And so, on row 2 of the homepage, it could be your tile showing to people who have recently played. And then there could be a different tile in continue representing your game as well. So it basically gives you now a new strategy to improve retention and bring people back.
Super cool. Got some questions. There was one that was, is this being recorded? Yes, this session is being recorded, so you can watch it back, which is cool. Another one about creative. They're all being ranked in a funny order, so I'm just trying to find the new ones. They're all being ranked by upvote. There's some targeting ones, which is cool. So will the video ads or thumbnails be available to everyone? Right? I think yes, right? Anyone can do custom thumbnails, yep. which is great. Some more targeting one, which is cool. That is maybe one on creative. So have you considered a way to CTR test different game names? So while we're on creative and A/B testing, do you have any opinions on how people should A/B test, how they can think about that? We'll get to reporting as well, so I don't know if you have any perspectives on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to A/B test different creatives, a great way to do that is by running a campaign in Ads Manager and just uploading up to 5 different creatives, and then you'll be able to click into that campaign and see which creative is performing best. You'll be able to see the plays associated with it, the impressions, the clicks, and all this engagement data.
So even if you have the same type of creative, you could just put some of the different wording in and see what people click on.
Yeah, exactly.
Titles, though, I think specifically not right now.
Yeah,
right?
Titles not right now, but that's super awesome feedback. So it's definitely something we can look into.
Cool. This is a fun one. I think objectives. This is somewhere where we've been spending a lot of time. Do you want to talk a little bit more about these 4 objectives and maybe also just highlight some of the stuff in the blue? Little tiny blueprint, which is really easy to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we touched on this a little bit, but just to give a quick recap. So, before a month or 2 ago, right, there was only one objective, and it wasn't even called an objective. It was just visits, right? And so you could go in, you could run an ad campaign for visits. It was hard to build a strategy around that, right? But now you have 3 options. 1, maximize plays. 2, drive retention. 3, reactivate users. And coming soon on the slide is new users. So coming soon towards, we'll loop back with some specific timelines shortly. But you'll be able to bring people to your experience who have never played before. But with maximize plays, this is a really awesome objective if you want to just drive the most number of plays at the lowest cost. Drive retention is great as an always-on strategy to keep recent players coming back. And same with reactivate users. You can bring people back who haven't played your game in a while or who have lapsed or churned. And now you can build a strategy around this. For example, we're seeing some folks put, 60% of budget in max plays, 20% of budget in drive retention, 20% in reactivate users. There are different strategies here, and you can kind of play around with what works best for you. But now you can build a strategy to bring people in top of funnel and then to keep them coming back with the drive retention and reactivate objectives.
Cool. Maybe we jump in a little. So maximize play, like in terms of who these are for, and if we've got a bunch of different types of creators on here, like we're saying, great way to get charted. I think we talked about objectives at the front in terms of like, I'm launching an experience, I'm publishing an update, but I see here, hey, this max plays could also be really good for high monetizing games that are meant to be played a few times. Can you talk a little bit about that, and then how that correlates to the results in the blue, like plays, playtime, and 30-day? How should you look at that type of stuff?
Yeah, so I think in the past, and I've heard this from many creators I've talked to in the community. In the past, there's this rumor that ads were like to help you get charted or get picked up by the algo, but that's really not the case. Ads are really meant to help grow the experience consistently, sustainably, and help monetize over time. So max plays what's really good for if you're launching a new game or a game update and just want to bring a ton of people to your experience who are high quality players, you can use max plays. So max plays is good for new games towards the middle of their life cycle, and very large games who want to bring in net new users as well, or bring back people to play. Drive retention is great for, let's say you're getting a lot of people organically already from the homepage. While max plays can help you bring in even more, drive retention can help bring those people back. So drive retention focuses on an audience who has played your game between 0 to 30 days. So people have recently played and will help you bring those players back. And you should be able to see improvements in your creator analytics dashboard on like D1, D7, D30 retention as well.
Yeah, I think there's a good question in here about what combo of plays, retention, and reactivate would you all recommend. So I think what I see here is like, if I'm publishing an update on the left, I might do a 1 to 2 week flight where I'm splitting it and I'm doing a max plays one, but I'm also doing a reactivate users one, right? Especially for an update where, hey, maybe I built something, it caught fire, it was great, but then I didn't really update it for a while, and now I've got an update. I think I want to get a bunch of people back. Reactivate users will get back those people that might have played 4 months ago, right? And they were like, that was fun, but I got bored. And so splitting by saying max plays is a bunch of people that never played your game. That's cool. And reactivate will kind of like hit both audiences at the same time and find all of those strong users. The stuff on the right is like, hey, like I've got pretty consistent traffic. I've got people playing on a regular basis. Like I know I want to improve my day 7, day 30 retention, but I also want to find new people. And so that's kind of the split is I'd see down the middle here to that question is like, depending on where you're at, depending on, how big your game is and what your goals are, I think these 1 to 2 week campaign flights on the left between these two objectives could be really good. If you're net new, obviously just max plays. And then maybe more if you're looking, hey, I just want to grow incrementally over time and use this as a part of my funnel. Maybe I'm earning from stuff within my game and I have some Robux to spend. This is a great way to just keep growing and build that flywheel, which is a cool one. Cool. That was a really good question. So thanks for that one. We talked a little bit about the algorithms, right, and targeting. And we got a few questions about targeting that maybe we can get to in this section. So do you want to talk a little bit? Some really cool numbers on this slide. Maybe we talked about how the algorithms help they're optimized to drive the lowest cost per play aligned with your goals and find the relevant users. But here we've got a little bit more about what the models look at, right? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? And then maybe I can touch on, and maybe what that means for the cost per play right now on the right.
Yeah, sounds good. So as Nick mentioned, we've done a lot of work recently in terms of smarter algorithms, better performance models, which help bring in higher quality players to your experience. And the results of that have been really awesome. Nick kind of brought this up, but we've seen a 44% decrease in cost per play. There's been an over 89% improvement in quality players in the past month or two. And basically what this means is you're getting higher quality players coming into your experiences at a fraction of the cost. And we have a stat here on the slide, but we're seeing the current average cost per play less than 1 cent And this is for maximized plays with no targeting. And so, like, I know we just talked about the objectives, but if you're thinking about trying out Ads Manager, definitely give max plays a shot with at least a 1 to 2 week duration, so you can really see the full benefit of the Ads Manager.
Less than 1 cent per play is pretty crazy. I think that's such a great. It's not always going to be 1 cent per play. I think once we see more people using it and spending right, like, we'll create more supply, but that costs to go up. I think that's why it's such an exciting time to try this out, right? Is that's pretty great.
Yeah. I have a game, my experience right now, I'm running a max plays campaign and the results are pretty wild.
Yeah. Cool. Got a couple of questions here. We got a lot about, hey, what about paid ads and recommended for you? And then also some questions about targeting. So I think we've talked a little bit about, I guess, talk about our perspective on targeting here on the left, right? And then maybe we can get to some of the questions. There was one about, hey, can I do gender targeting to split up my creatives, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what do you think our approach to targeting moving forward is? And we did just launch some advanced targeting on the background, right, for geo and device. So do you want to talk a little bit about like how we're thinking about targeting with our algos at Roblox? And then we can maybe get to some of the more specific ones, and then let's get to the fun stuff, which is the paid ads and recommended for you.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think targeting is an interesting one because we get a lot of questions about this, and I think the perspective, what we're seeing right now is like with all these model and smarter algorithm performance updates, our creators actually like need less targeting because the Roblox Ads Manager is really helping you find the best users for your experience. And I think in practice, what this means is like historically, we've seen a lot of campaigns created where we set, male 13 plus in X country, right? But the thing when you set all these different targeting criteria, it like makes the audience size smaller. And while the majority of your audience might be males 13 plus, say US, for example, there's going to be some females in there who love your experience, who pay, and who engage. There's going to be some males who are, older, females who are older. There's going to be different audience segments who aren't captured in your manual targeting that are going to play, that are going to spend and deliver really high quality engagement. And what's great is Roblox helps find those segments. So when we say no targeting, it doesn't just mean that your ads are just like out there in the ether. They're super highly targeted, personalized. And so I think like our approach here is we're going to continue to add guardrails to the Roblox automated targeting because the Roblox automated targeting can take in so much information to show your ad to the right user at the right time, which will deliver you the best results possible for your experience on Roblox.
And this is just like, this is where the ad world is going, right? It's like, hey, these systems are smarter than us humans and they can help us find things. And that's awesome. We do have geo and device on the back end, right? So can you talk about just quickly where to find advanced targeting in the new flow? Because we just launched that.
Yeah. So right now, advanced targeting is available in the new flow. If you go into Ads Manager, and you can access Ads Manager directly via the link or from Creator Hub in your left-hand column. But if you go into Ads Manager and you scroll down the page, you'll see a tab that says Advanced Targeting, and you'll be able to set geo and device targeting. But as Nick said, like it's not just about we're not trying to just automate. Like our goal here is to give you transparency and control, but we also want to help these ads provide the best possible results for you. And so if you're trying out Ads Manager, we recommend trying it with no targeting. That way you get a baseline to kind of like see what Roblox can really do here.
Yeah, and there's a good funny comment in, I'm no Luddite, I'm just skeptical. I think that's totally fair, right? So like that's one of the reasons we leave the classic flow open, right? So maybe, I think if you are skeptical, you can today run an A/B test, right? You can try the new flow with no targeting, and you could run targeting in the old flow, and you could see which one drives you a better CPP and performance, right? And that's one of the reasons that we're leaving both open right now is to help people make that transition and understand, right? So we don't want to push something on you straight away. We want to make
Mhm.
sure that you feel good about this and are confident on your own too, which is cool.
Mhm. Exactly.
I think another good one from in here. Hey, I work with brands who can't advertise to under 18s or their budgets for certain regions. How will this affect the CPP? Right. I think targeting does and even with max plays and
Mhm.
retention. Right. I think one thing we're thinking about is coming out with some more benchmarks about what
Mhm.
to expect. In general, the smaller you make an audience segment, right, the more expensive it will be. So if you put targeting for 18 plus, for example, that will be more expensive than opening up to everyone. That's just a natural fact of life, right? So they may have a more expensive CPP. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Roblox, we all know Roblox is a massive global platform. So there's huge audiences, kind of like at all stages of the age, I guess, spectrum. And so, I would try it out. Like if you have questions about targeting a certain audience, I would try it out, and you should see. Hopefully, you'll see performance that you're pretty excited about.
Another good one in here. They keep coming in, and then I have to get to the Q&A and as well. But is there? I think one thing we've heard, right, is that the old one I could bid, right, and I had a CPP that I had a max bid, right. Now there's no max bid, quote unquote. That would feel worrying to some people. So what do you think about that side?
Yeah. So previously, yeah, you could set a max bid. Right now, there's no notion of bidding on the interface, right? Basically, on this new flow, we're seeing cost per plays less than 1 cent. This wasn't even possible on the old flow. The lowest you could bid on the old flow was actually 1 cent. So now you're getting, because we also introduced fractional bidding, which is why you can now get cost per plays lower than 1 cent. In terms of max bids, basically Roblox is not going to ramp up your bid. I won't say that there's not a cap, but I will say that Roblox does the best job possible to deliver the highest quality play at the lowest cost for you. And so what you can do is you can start a campaign, you can test out with a budget you feel comfortable, and if cost per plays are kind of in line with what you're excited about, we would test increasing that budget because you should continue to see strong performance. But if you're not happy with it, you definitely just let us know and we can dig in with you.
Yeah, and I think the one for the question for brands specifically, right? We can work with brands to, on a managed service basis, do a fixed CPP in the background. It might be more than what is paid through the self-service system, right? But that is something that can be done, and something where I think this might be a partner as well. So we are thinking about how we work with partners to help them run campaigns on behalf of brands as well. So they're good call outs. I think I know the discovery one is going to be fun. So I just wanted to make sure we got all the targeting questions. I think on search, what do you think about keywords in our plans there? It's I see something about keyword planner. Do you want to share a little bit more about where that's going?
Yeah. So I know we've run lots of ads on Google Keyword Planner. I know keywords are great for forecasting demand, but also bidding on certain keywords, right? And we know that Roblox, we have a lot of users discovering games both from home and from search. And so I think you can expect to see sponsored ads massively improved on search in the not too far future. Whether it be, I would say we're taking a Roblox first approach here, and so Keyword Planner is great for certain keywords, but just like how your games will show up on home to users who want to play them and engage with them, I think you can expect that to happen in the future with search.
Yeah, and I think Charles, your note is consolidating with our own team versus developers working on it. That's not the case. I think what we could do for partners in particular is what we want to do is work with you guys to figure out how can you actually work on a managed service way for brands, and whether that is you guys own the self-service account. No, it totally makes sense. I think if you guys own, I think we're just thinking about how that happens, right? Because this is a growth area. So in some worlds, there's, the partner would have the account and they would manage that, and then the brand is never able to log in. or there's a self-service way, right, where they're exposed to those challenges. I think that's something we're thinking about and open to working with partners on as well. Let's get to, is there a link between paid ads and recommended for you? I think I'm going to set it up, and then Ethan, do you want to push it through? Because this is actually something we get a lot, and I think is actually a lot more complex than I think we thought when we got here and started hearing about it. So maybe we can talk about what we know right now, where some of the gaps are, and what we're doing about it. So I think first and foremost, like paid ads on Roblox and discovery should be super complementary, right? And this is just the way that funnels work. So there's no direct link between what goes into ads and what hits discovery. So paid ads should act as a force. They can help you kickstart your game and get charted, and they can also help you bring in incremental new users and retention to help amplify what you get from organic discovery. What we found is that it can help the recommended for you algorithm learn on launch. In general, there should be no negative impact, right? But what is also happening on the discovery side, and if you look at, I think there's a recommended for you post on 331, the discovery algorithm has also gone through some changes this year about what they are prioritizing, right? Where they're shifting more to retention and away from monetization, right? So this actually means that ads could be more relevant for things like either this cold start problem or high monetization games that have low retention, right? That may not score as highly on RFY as they used to. So that's one change that we've seen, right? Is like, hey, I was running ads and then it dropped off. That can sometimes be just due to the fact that it is a high monetization but low retention game. And a lot of those users were coming from ads and now they are not, right? I think the second thing we think of is, hey, people show us their creator analytics, right? And the creator analytics does look like ads is having that downward impact. I think one thing that I'd love to have you share is like kind of why that's a not the best representation of the ads impact on discovery and what we're doing about it from a creator analytics point of view.
Yeah, sounds good. And we get this question a lot, and I mean, some of the folks on this call, like we've probably spoken with face to face in the past 2 weeks. So if you're here, thank you for joining. Basically, just to answer the question, because we get this all the time, do ads impact organic discovery in any negative way? The answer is no. So if you run ads, it will not hurt your organic discovery. I just want to be super clear there. And as Nick said, Roblox is evolving, right? Roblox is always changing. The way games are discovered are changing. But what ads can do is, let's say you're getting 100,000 new users per day, or 1 million new users per day, or 5 million new users per day. Ads could help you, get the 6 million, the extra million, the extra 1,000, the extra 10,000, the extra 100,000, and then you can make more money per day. And what you'll see is if you are starting to put $1 in, now you have that transparency on the Ads Manager to see, do I put $1 in, and am I getting more than $1 out? If that's your goal, or if your goal is purely growing your player base, you'll be able to achieve those goals as well. But I just want to be super clear, ads do not hurt organic discovery in any way. They're only meant to help our community grow.
And I think one thing we're happy to do, right, is if you do see something that looks like that, we're happy to look into it and kind of share more about what has been happening, because maybe get into creator analytics, because I think it does sometimes look like that in creator analytics, which is what we found, right? So do you want to share more about that and what's changing there?
Yeah, so on creator analytics, right, and we're working super closely on creator analytics to make sure ads are the kind of represented properly. But basically on creator analytics, right, when I go into my experience, I look at my benchmarks, I look at my acquisition, I look at my retention engagement tabs, right? But if you look at your benchmarks, for example, that kind of brings together all sources, right? So it's like an average. And so it's not segmented out, right? So that's not really a great way to analyze traffic when you bring all sources all together in one, because especially if it's represented as averages. So we're working super closely with the creator team on ways to better kind of equip you to see the value of ads on creator. Same with acquisition, same with retention, same with engagement, right? You'll see a lot of sources grouped together. which makes it difficult to kind of see the impact of any one channel. So if you're looking for like a source of truth to see the impact of your ads, we definitely recommend checking out Ads Manager, but you can also use Creator Analytics to kind of gut check and cross-reference.
Which gets to our next section, right? So we shared a little bit more up here in objectives, right, about some of the things to look at in the new reporting. But do you want to share a little bit more about the new reporting flow and how we changed it versus what it used to be? And we have the Creator Analytics changes here as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So previously, the reporting on Ads Manager, I think there were like 23 different columns and there's a ton of different data. And it was kind of confusing and complicated. So now we've tried to simplify the reporting view. And so at the top of your screen, you'll see like 4 key stats at your universe level for like amount spent, impressions, plays, and 7-day playtime. And then in the table below, let's say you run a campaign, you'll actually be able to see like how much you spent, what the cost per play was, and also even your 30-day Robux earnings. And one thing to note with the Robux earnings attributed to that ad is, let's say you put $1 in, or let's say you put $10 in, or $100 in, or $50,000 in, for example. And on day one, you have $2,000 worth of purchases in your experience. Those numbers will continue to update over the course of 30 days. So make sure to keep checking back on these metrics. But now in the reporting, it's more clear to see like the ROI of your campaigns. You'll be able to see, what did I put in and what am I getting out? And is it aligned with my goals?
Cool. Yeah, that's great. I think that's perfect. And then, that's one of the things I would say right now around that is Ads Manager reporting is the great source of truth. I think we're starting to provide, hey, if you're running this objective, look at the change in this metric in Ads Manager before and after the campaign. Mm-hmm. And then we're bringing those changes to Creator Analytics soon, which will be really great. Mm-hmm. We are at the end of our session. So I think this was great, super fun. I think we want to do more of this. I think I saw, will you have a booth at RDC? That is the plan. We want to keep talking to you and want to keep building this product through these forums, through direct, at RDC, all of those types of things. So looking forward to meeting some of you guys in person. One quick question on reporting was, when I last looked, the date went up to 1 year. Is there a hidden lifetime view that will show longer than 1 year?
Yeah, you can export your data. I think in the right-hand column of the table, you should be able to export data and you'll be able to select the time range.
Cool. We got a couple of different questions as well that we'll try and get to with the last few minutes we have. But just to wrap up, I think, number one, try out the objectives. Think about what the right objective is for you. And we're going to keep rolling out more objectives in the future. So this is just the start. And I think we want to cover a lot of different use cases. Secondly, start to run continuous as well. So think about how it can be an always-on part of your strategy, right? If you think about anywhere else, people run ads all the time to get in new users that might not have just played regularly. So that'll be really big. CPPs, the CPP for max play is less than $0.01. This is such a cool opportunity to start using the system right now. As more people start to realize how this has been upgraded, it's going to start growing. Like you guys on the webinar are ahead of the curve here today, and I think that's super cool. And then, there should be no negative impact to organic discovery from paid advertising, and we recommend going to Ads Manager reporting. We know you guys live in Creator Analytics, and we're working on that, but we do recommend going to our reporting to look at the impact in the short term. There was I'll get to the cool, and let's get to the questions. We have a few more minutes, so we can hang out here. How many ad credits should we expect to wake up to? What do you think, Ethan?
It's going to be a surprise. Just check in the next 24 hours, and you should wake up to a nice surprise.
Nice. And how do they find that again? They'll go into Ads Manager, they'll go into Creator Hub.
If you go into Ads Manager, and you can access Ads Manager from Creator Hub or directly via the URL. And there'll be a big banner at the top of your screen. It'll say you've been granted X number of ad credits, and you'll be able to claim them, and they'll automatically be applied to your account.
Cool. We got upper cap to CPP. I like the one about can I tell whether someone's come in via an ad campaign when I'm looking at the experience? this is something funny as I've come to Roblox is understanding. Hey, people are in the game looking at who came through from their ads, which is a lot of fun. I don't think we have that right now, right? You can't tell whether someone comes in.
No, but I mean, one thing that's kind of fun to do is, and I do this sometimes myself, is if you run an ad campaign, well, one, you can see the sources in Creator Analytics and you can see how many people are playing from your ads manager. And if you want to see a ton of people just jumping into your experience, just join the game and you'll see people spawning in. But you can see the source of truth from Ads Manager. You can also see your new players coming in from Creator Analytics.
Cool. I'd love the ability to target by gender because then I can push thumbnails to different interests, right? I think we did a little bit of targeting, but what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, so that kind of touches on, if you can target by gender, right? And let's say you have one thumbnail that's, color A and one thumbnail color B, right? It's not that black and white of like who's going to perform best. And so what Roblox will start doing is like right now thumbnails are evenly distributed, but like I know Nick touched on this and we talked briefly earlier, but pretty soon those thumbnails will start getting optimized to who's most likely to click. So, there could be user A and user B, both who are different genders, most likely to click on one thumbnail, and user A, user C, user D, most likely to click on thumbnail B. So that's all going to be automated and should be able to perform really strongly for you as well.
Cool. I see one about, hey, will the classic ad system be deprecated, unsupported in the future? Do you want to share more about how we're thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we brought this into, I think, one of our recent dev forum posts. The way we're thinking about this is we are bringing all of the critical functionality into the new Ads Manager, and we recommend using the new Ads Manager.
Yeah. I think we're seeing more and more people use it, right? Mm-hmm. I think the classic flow may go away at some point. We want to make sure that we're there's still things like search that are in the old flow that we want to bring over, but I think in time we hope that the new one will service all of the purpose, and that is the direction that we're going in. I think having two versions of a system forever isn't the goal. But we'll share more and we'll give timelines for that in the future.
Yeah.
A good one here from Charles, which we did talk about in our last dev forum post, but we didn't talk about today, was, hey, I used to see a lot of spikes when I ran ads, right? Can you maybe just talk about the changes we made to pacing in the last update?
Yeah. So like during our, not the last dev forum post, the dev forum post before, where we introduced how we're leveling up Ads Manager, I would say one of the number one feedbacks we got was we were seeing CCU spikes or spend spikes and traffic spikes. So since then, so in the past month and a half, we've massively improved our pacing and bidding algorithms. So what that means is you're going to see smoother, consistent traffic throughout the course of the day. So you're not going to see those massive spikes when you go check out your CCUs. You're going to see much more smoother delivery of your budget and of traffic throughout the course of your campaign.
We've seen a massive reduction in that, which has been cool, and that was a big piece of feedback that we got that we wanted to fix, which is great. Yeah. So thanks for asking that one. I think another one which was similar is a good one that I've seen that just got asked again is there a way to make a campaign by region? Right. So this one asks about portals, but yes, in the new flow you can do a geo targeted campaign. So that would be in the advanced targeting settings. So that is totally possible. So that's a good one. I think another one we got is like, hey, I used to see just players join and not move around, right? How can I fix this? I think that's what I would call like a low quality play, right? And so as you see that 89% improvement in quality playthroughs, you should see less of that and more people that want to play, that want to spend time, that want to spend money. Not saying that someone would never join a game and not move around, right? That could happen through any source, right? I might just leave the room, but you should see that in your metrics. If your ROI is going up, if your 7-day, 30-day, if your Robux spent is all going up, then that should be good.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the goal of ads, right, is to help you grow your experience. And how do we do that? It's by bringing players in who are going to love the experiences you build and what you bring into the world, right? And so Nick mentioned like quality playthrough rates have improved by 89%. That's continuing to improve. So ads are now bringing in higher quality players to your experiences who are going to love it, who are going to engage, and who are just going to have fun experiencing what you've brought into the world.
Yeah, and then maybe the last question we have time for is this one about Discovery no longer giving huge amounts of home impressions to ads, right? I think, again, saying like, hey, ads can help you let the recommended for you algorithm get started, but I think it's really important to understand how the recommended for you algorithm is changing too. I'd really recommend going and checking out their post on the 31st of March, which was the same day we launched the new Ads Manager flow. To understand how recommended for you is changing and how they're prioritizing. And we're working with them to actually share more with you guys on that as well as we kind of work on the ads front too. But that's kind of what I would think about is like, yes, like ads are a great way to kickstart and get your game in front of people who haven't played before. Get your metrics up, start people playing, and then recommended for you obviously runs off all types of metrics, and that will help grow it from there. So understanding how both systems will work and using them in tandem is the best way to continue operating. Final question on will group ads return?
And I'm assuming by that, do you mean like advertising and promoting groups?
Yes, that's what we got.
bring.
Yeah.
I think if this is something that our community is really valuing right now and wants to experience, we can definitely dig in. But we want to really focus on how do you grow your experiences? How do you grow your presence on Roblox? So
cool. We have 8 seconds left, so we took the full hour. But thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for all the questions. We want to do more, and have a great day.
Thanks all.
And,